Good afternoon, and welcome to Rabbit Hole Roundtable Talks, the show where we take a topic and we dive right into it, or we just have a conversation that has no real ending. Today we're joined by Ronin, a very fun and he's a good friend and a good content creator as well. We're gonna talk about content creation for the most part, and then we're gonna just have a conversation about whatever comes up. So Ronin, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Ronin. I'm a content creator slash streamer on twitch.tv slash UU Gamer Show. Um, been streaming for a couple years, mainly just really like kind of entertainment and teaching people stuff that I find in games, giving just small gameplay tips. Nothing crazy, just kind of a variety streamer. Kind of does it a little bit of it all.
And we're also joined by Meankno as usual. And today he's gonna be a brain for a little bit.
Yeah. So first, I just want to comment on Ronin's uh, bedroom voice there. That was very hot. But yo, as usual, as usual, I'm having technical difficulties, so I'm just gonna start off incognito. But thanks, guys, for coming to the podcast and let's jump in, man.
So Ronin, give us a little bit more of your background on being a content creator. When did you start? And things like that.
um, I was a content creator starting in, well, I would say more or less I was a streamer starting in like 2014, 2015ish. I can't remember. There's a site you can go to where you can look at people's Twitch statistics and really see the calendar of like when they streamed, how long, stuff like that. Um but I think mine said it was like 2014, 2015, something like that. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was around that time. So that would be about 6 years or so. I started doing YouTube videos in 20, I want to say like late 2019, right before Borderlands 3 came out. I was doing some like Borderlands 2 videos, and I was, but I had the cell phone sitting propped up by a coffee cup, and it was like some in 2019. Yeah. Um, I used to record like some old videos of Guitar Hero back in like 2014 and stuff. That was like before streaming. It was just like uploading videos. Like I would go to YouTube. Like YouTube was the forefront of anything content before streaming even existed. But even when it did, still it was, you would go there to see people, we watch concert taping of a concert or a guitar cover or a Guitar Hero, song being played at 100% or something like that. So I started doing that, and then I learned about streaming when Xbox One came out and they put the Twitch on there.
Mm, cool. What was your original plan for streaming? Do you have any goals or anything like that?
Um, my original plan for streaming actually was just to connect with people. I was really addicted to chat rooms as a teenager.
Mm,
I grew up in the AOL era and stuff like that. So I grew up with Messenger or whatever it was, and yeah, chat rooms. I just loved getting in a chat room with random people and just talking. I guess came from like a bad background in school, bullying, stuff like that. So it was like in a chat room, you didn't matter who it was, and as a kid, you're not worried about ages and that weird stuff. So like it's just like you didn't. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter who they were. It's just y'all had this interest in whatever chat room you were in. Maybe it was a cartoon, like there was some websites you could watch cartoons and then chat in the chat room or something like that. It could be that or something like that, or you could just be in a just it's just chat room AOL, something like that. Uh, I just love that experience of just talking to people without problems, because what you can be like, oh, you look like this, blah blah blah.
mm.
So yeah, I like that Twitch offered that, and it gave me my second thing I wanted as a kid, which was to like be a pro gamer, something of the sort. So it was like I could show off how I was, the shit at video games, and also connect with people and just talk and just share a love for video games. That was basically the original goal of Twitch. Be the coolest chat room I could be.
That's cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what kind of games do you normally play? or is
Um,
there a genre you specifically like?
yeah, I'm actually kind of like a variety streamer. I play fighting games, I play shooting games, uh, strategic games like top down games like Halo Wars, uh, all kinds of stuff. I love World of Warcraft. I love it all. I'll play anything that people want to engage with and stuff like that. That I also have fun with. I have to have fun as well.
I think I had the same like early beginnings for streaming. I didn't know what I wanted, but then when I started doing it, I was like, hey, I could meet people and talk to people because I didn't really have that in my life at the time. So it became
Yeah,
something to do where I could just go and people will come and just talk to you and then they leave and then someone else comes and talks to you and then they leave. It's like it's always like a constant revolving door for the most part of people talking to you.
yeah,
Yeah. And then I met you and I was like, oh, he's really cool. And then you had like that high energy and I have like this medium energy. So like we just clicked.
yeah. That's what he does. He has like that's what I liked about one is like I could be way up there and then he was chill. So like when I'm like, this game is like Wanted's over here and he's just like, it's all good. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Wanted. It is all good. I need to chill, bro. I'm out of my element right now.
Yeah, I remember those days back when One was streaming, because he would always be on his stream just like chilling, man, like just vibing. And I remember like a lot of times people would be like hype, and he would be like, "Okay, guys, we got this. Okay, guys, it's okay." Like he was like the calm, like everybody's like spazzing out, and he's just like, "Okay, guys,
I'm
we
like,
got this."
we've lost 7 games in a row. And he's just like, yeah, we have, man. We have. That's it. And
Or
I'm
he's
just
like,
like, all right.
I think someone once said he said something, and he was like, "I said that." Like he said something like, "You have to don't think of it as losing, think of
Oh
it as
yeah,
learning," or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't lose, we just learn. And the person really liked hearing that.
Google would say there's no such thing as coincidences.
So we were talking behind the scenes and you had an original plan before streaming. You want to talk about
Uh,
that?
yeah. Well, one of the things I wanted to do was stand up comedy. I don't know if that's one of the things you were thinking about or talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah. I used to want to do. I mean, still do like wanted to do like stand up comedy. And sometimes I used to think about it. I wanted to do stand up comedy, but I also wanted to write stand up because there's been a lot of times where I'd watch someone's stand up comedy special or something, and I'm like, it could be your audience, but I'm like, man, that joke really would have hit if you would have just added this one word, or if you would have just paused right here and then hit with the punchline or something. Like, I really could, like, your joke was good, but I could have made it better just by editing, tweaking a little bit.
Mm,
And I was really interested in Neil Brennan. He used to write for Dave Chappelle on the Chappelle Show. He also does his own stand up comedy. But yeah, he's hilarious. And when I seen the person that was like behind a lot of the some of the greatest sketches that people find notorious for from Chappelle Show or just in comedy period, I'm like, yo, like I mean, Dave Chappelle, he's Dave Chappelle. He did his work, but like he's not the only person who's really funny. Someone
mhm.
who else was part of that guy being really funny in a sense was behind the scenes. He didn't even I didn't know he existed until, late 20s. So um yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to be just a stand-up comedian because I got like kind of like a stage fright as well,
Yeah,
even though because the webcam's a little bit different, but even though I stream in front of people all the time and can talk to someone in public, no problem. I could just walk into a group of people and talk. Doing stand-up comedy is a little bit different. So yeah, I would want to do stand-up comedy, but also writing would have just been fun as well.
I only asked that question because I was thinking about doing improv because I always wanted to do improv on a stream just just
Mm.
for kicks and giggles to see how it would go. So I asked you about stand-up comedy because I know that's always like the next thing when you compare the two. It's either you do stand-up or you do improv.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's another thing I've always wanted to do improv too, because with improv, I'm just really good at like being asked something on the fly or what do
Yeah.
you got to come up with the next thing on the fly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's what streaming is too. It's just like trying to figure out what you're gonna say next based on what you're doing right now. And you need to have that, that quickness. Otherwise you're just gonna be lost. Y'all are so quiet.
Sorry, man. I'm trying to figure out these technical difficulties over here, but I think I'm gonna give up for today.
Actually, we're not even live on YouTube right now. I don't know what
Are
happened.
we not?
Nah.
You
Damn.
see? We just
We just all over the place.
bamboozled. Yeah, we bamboozled today.
It's all good. It'll be on YouTube though. It is on Twitch, but it will be on YouTube after we're done with it.
Yeah.
That's another thing about content creation and like just streaming is like something's gonna go wrong. You have to figure out what it's gonna be on that day. I remember there was a day I was muted for an hour and a half and I had nobody in chat to tell me, so I was just, having fun with myself. And then
Yep.
someone was like, "You're muted." I'm like, "Oh, an hour and a half of content just gone down the drain."
I've done that before.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
it's not.
So I always imagine like streaming and like making YouTubes is pretty much like you talking to yourself
Hmm.
for like however long you stream for.
Yeah.
And then you just happen to have like a chat there. But for the most part, you're just talking to yourself.
Hmm.
So like even when I was trying to get into streaming, which I was trying to do mobile games, not the best. And I would just be talking like nonstop for like hour and then after I'm done, I'm like, was I talking too much? Because that felt like I was talking too much.
Yeah, for me, like it always came easy for me to do because it's like the whole talking to yourself thing, I talk too much as it is. And then for me, when I game, you can ask like my brothers or something. They'll tell you that like the way I am on stream, I am by myself in a room with no one around. I'm literally narrating the game out loud. Okay, so we got to go over here and we're gonna grab this. Or like in a PvP game, I'm like, okay, we hit that guy for 2, but he's gonna shoot back, and I'm like narrating every single thought that goes through my head. I do that when no
Yeah.
one's around at all. That's just how I am. So when I heard that like that's what you got to do to entertain people, I'm like, I've got this in the bag then because I do that as it is. So like,
Mhm.
what's next? Like, what can I start working on next? Which was like content stuff like that, which is on the way. But yeah, talking just to no one is easy. I think really it's literally just that. Just say what you're thinking. Narrate every move you're doing, every
Mhm.
key you press, or something like that.
Yeah.
People, and actually, a lot of people actually do watch content based on that. Like, just a lot of Destiny content I've watched recently and stuff like that. PvP players and stuff, they'll just exactly say what they're doing. Or Fortnite players, they'll say, "Hey, like we're gonna go over here, where this is how we're gonna box this player up, and then we're gonna open this window like this to do this." And
Mhm.
so,
I think I used to commentate for my cousins playing because I used to be the odd man out. You only have two controls in Super Nintendo. But I used to like, oh, now he's gonna jump over the hole and he fell into the hole. Now he's dead.
yeah,
Yeah, and also like I used to be that guy on the sideline. So I kind of had that kind of background as well, being able to say what I'm seeing and then make it funny, so that if you lose or you die, you're not really gonna be bummed out. You're just gonna be laughing and want to hear what I'm gonna say next. So I think
yeah,
it was okay to transition into like streaming because it's just talking basically.
Yeah, and that's my problem right there. So I have a hard time talking while playing. So like when I play, right? So I don't know. I grew up back in the days when you had to like your parents would like put away and hide all your game systems and be like, you have to focus on school and you can start
yeah,
playing, you can play in the summer. So
Mm-hmm.
I used to find the hiding spots for the game console, sneak it out, hide it somewhere else, right? Then late at night when everybody's sleeping, I would wake up and I would go play and I would have the volume off
Oh my
and I would
gosh.
just be real quiet, just playing the game. So I got used to like playing games with no sound at all.
Mm-hmm.
So like even now, if there's sound playing in my game, it's a little distracting. And if people are talking, especially like in some games, like if you're playing a MOBA, for example, and your teammates are trying to like tell you like, okay, we need you guys to come up here and gank or whatever. For me, that's distracting. Like I don't know why, but it
yeah.
makes me play not as good if I just mute everyone and mute myself.
And that's hard for what we're trying to do as like a duo, trying to play games like Diablo. Like it's like we try and
This is
talk.
different.
Oh, me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you have the chill vibe. You know, you don't talk much,
Mm-hmm.
so it's mostly me talking. I will probably be the one doing the shot calls, so that's probably a little easier.
Speaking of,
But when you guys used to play, I think Ronan, you played Paladins, right?
Yes.
who did you guys have an organized team like you wanted and some other people, or was it just like a random group of people?
Yeah, it was typically just playing with randoms.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you and Wanted were on a team, who do you think you would be the shot caller, or do you think someone else would?
100%. 100%. I'm the shot caller.
Yeah.
I don't allow anyone else to be the shot caller unless I just don't feel
God.
like it.
I'm more of a recon person anyways. I just say what I see and then go from there. And then he would
I'm the I feel like well, I feel like that, but like I'm an advanced UAV. I see everything on the map. I know where everyone is. I know who's won, who's not. I told you the info. Do something with it. That's me.
yeah. It's sad to watch you play without me because like you're calling out all the stuff that's happening. Like he's one, this person's here, and everybody's just like looking around, looking at the game,
Yeah.
looking at the aesthetics. It's like, come on, it's the team.
You look at the scenery. That's the worst.
I'll be a healer calling where everyone is and doing top damage and heals at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I saw you playing Destiny by yourself, and like I felt that. 'Cause when I started playing Destiny a few years
He's the
ago,
worst.
I had a not a team, but we would get together every now and then to play together, so we'd know each other's vibe or whatever. But after a while, I stopped playing. Then when I got back to playing, they stopped. So I had to do LFGs, and LFGs are the worst because you don't know who you're gonna get. You don't know if they know the raid or whatever, and it's like they just want to get done. They don't want to talk. They don't
The
want
loot
to. Yeah, exactly. So like being a solo player, is that harder? I would say yes, but like why is it harder?
is what harder exactly.
Like playing a game that's meant for multiplayer as a solo player.
Intensely harder, especially something like Overwatch, because like Paladins, I can customize a loadout that might be more healing. Like I'm a solo healer, so I can pump in more heals into my build. But a game like Overwatch, you just got a stock character like per se Halo, where it's just you just got the character Halo like 1 through 3 or something of the sort, where you
Mm,
just got a stock character. There is no attachments. There's no exo abilities. Nothing. It's the character and what guns you find on the map. Overwatch is in the sense like that. You just got your character's abilities. So if I'm playing a game in open queue where anyone can pick any role in any amount, and I got 5 DPS and I'm the only healer, I'm just the only healer, and what I got's what I got. I can't
mm,
upgrade that. I can't do anything.
mm,
At least in Overwatch 1. Overwatch 2 could be a lot different. But so in Overwatch, yeah, it hurts a lot. It's a immediate cripple to not have extra teammates that you can communicate with. Even if I'm playing with the randoms, if I they're not communicating back, that makes my job all the more harder. But in Paladin, something like that, I can carry myself. Call of Duty, you could carry a whole team. Games like that are a little bit different.
Games like Destiny and Outriders, they're almost like meant for a team play. Like you can't really have as much
Yeah.
fun by yourself, and that's the worst part. Because I actually used to like Destiny a lot until I realized like I need more people to play with.
Yeah, in Destiny, you can definitely do carrying type stuff or be really powerful, but it's a lot harder to do than a shooter or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, like Destiny, for example, it's definitely a lot more frustrating and harder if you don't have people to play with, where you've got to enter the multiplayer environment by yourself. But I believe that would be anything really, anything that's you can have the advantage or the ability to play with other teammates, and then don't have the ability to utilize that. Will suck. I think that'll suck in any environment.
Yeah, Mino, you were saying something?
I was gonna say that, one day I'm gonna download. Oh no, actually that's not what I was gonna say. Sorry. So before we started the stream, right? Ronin was saying that sometimes his mind just like goes on random topics.
Hmm.
And I basically have the same issue. Like my brain was on one topic, but I actually wanted to talk about a different topic. So what I
Yeah,
was gonna say was I'm not good at first person shooters, whereas Wanted loves playing first person shooters. So like as his friend, I want to play with him, but I'm complete like garbage, like lit on fire. Like I'm complete trash at first person shooters. Like I remember back in the Okay, sorry, that's a tangent. But
It's fine.
I
It's
think
fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That sounds like
I
me,
think
bro. That's me like talking about this one thing, and it's like, yeah, so games. This one time back in 1986,
yeah,
56.
yeah. I was gonna say, but I think Destiny is a third-person shooter, right?
No, it's a first
First
person,
person shooter.
unless you're using a sword, I guess. A melee.
Yeah.
Golly. Well, I would play with you guys, but I'm just saying you're gonna have to carry me. Like literally, I'm like a baby that weighs a
That's
million
all right.
pounds.
I got my straps on. All good. Hop in. Got you. We
Oh,
got
so another question.
snacks and we got first aid kit. We got everything you need in here, man. Hop in.
I'll play
Got
the
the
tank.
backpack
That
on.
way I can just mindlessly run in and you guys can just be in the back doing stuff.
Ah, so he's a Titan player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually in most games that I play the person with the maximum like crowd control, high HP, kind of like bruiser-ish type of builds.
Yeah.
I play the glass cannons mostly. I just like DPS.
And you're always a mage, huh?
Always. Guaranteed.
How about you, Ronan?
What's that?
What kind
Mage.
of
Yeah. What classes do you like to
Um,
play? Sorry, Mina.
See, I used to have specifics when I first played Destiny. I was always a warlock, because they always resembled mages.
Mhm.
But nowadays, I guess because like I'm just playing everything and trying to make content. So I'm like, I make a build for this class, this and that. I can play everything now in Destiny, and pretty well. So I'll just play with whatever. I don't really have like the thing I jump straight to in a new game anymore. It's just like now I'm actually like, all right, if I started up a new game and it's something I've never played, I don't know anything about it. Now, when I look at the classes, it's not like what do I like the best. It's like this one sounds like it does the most DPS or something of the sort. Like this one sounds like I'm gonna get through the beginning of the game a lot quicker than this one or something like that. Uh, so it just really depends, I guess. Then if I'm playing like Skyrim, I'm gonna go for a more spellcaster build, no doubt, because I like mages. So like a game like that, yeah, I'm using the hand ability, lightning and fire spells and stuff like that. I never leveled up my two-handed skill in Skyrim ever. Who touches that?
funny story? I remember a friend of mine was like, "I'm gonna play Skyrim," and I was like, "I never heard of that basketball game before."
Oh
And then,
man.
and then I had to like actually look it up.
Oh, the joke's coming early this week. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to. That was a very noob
Did you
moment.
say that
But
out loud or did you say it to yourself?
I typed it in chat. I actually typed it out. I was like, I
Uh,
never heard of that basketball game. He was like, "Bro, go look it up. That's not what it is."
he didn't even tell you. He was like, dude, just figure it out on your own.
So Ronan, would you ever do like IRL streaming or stuff like that for content?
Definitely, yeah. If I had the lifestyle to do so, for sure. Man, it's so crazy the things that I know I could do in the world. Like I could touch any content atmosphere and succeed in it, honestly, in my opinion. I could do like the streamer house crap. I could do the IRL stuff. Like if I live, but like the city I live in is crap. My house is crap. I don't live in like a house with I live in a house with roommates, but they're not like into that stuff. So like I can't just turn on my camera in the morning and go like do some stuff or mess with them or something and make content. So
Mhm.
but I know I could do it definitely for sure. Yeah. I could I could do a lot of content stuff.
That actually bleeds into what I was gonna ask next is when I was streaming, well, I still stream, but when I used to stream more, I always had these grandeur ideas. And it's like I could never get them to come to fruition because one, there's not enough viewers here to actually have like a engagement. So I had like a whole wheel of games to play daily, and it's like, why? Like there's nobody here. It was kind of like demoralizing because it's like I have all these ideas that I can do, but there's no one here to watch me do them. So do I do them or do I save them until I get bigger? Do you ever have something like that? Like you feel like there's more that you can do, but you have to wait for the right time?
Um I feel like that now and always have. It's kind of just what I was describing, is that I feel like I could do all these content things, but like I have to wait a couple years till I have more money to live in a bigger house, or make my stream pop more so that people want to be like, yo, let's come move with us, and something like that. So people want to start doing some stuff, collabing with some stuff or something like that.
Mm,
It feels like I have to wait, but the problem is I wouldn't. If I had the chance to do it now, I wouldn't wait. So I feel like it's more like I'm forced to wait, not that like I know I should.
yeah, I feel that.
I have a lot of ideas that I know I can, make be like that could be really good, but just not in any positions to make them happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, just hold on to them. You never know.
Yeah.
So, what are the downsides you would say of content creation? Like, when do you feel like, you know, not so good about it?
Um everyone, there's a term and I forget what it's called, but it's like when you don't see instant gratification. When you don't see like immediate results
Mm-hmm.
from something you do, everyone's going to suffer from instant gratification because they're going to upload that first couple videos and they're really excited about it, especially if they worked hard. The harder you work on a video, the harder it hurts when it doesn't work out. And I mean, it might
Mm,
be common sense, but like with anything you do, but especially on a video, because like I've poured over 16 hours into one video in a straight session and worked hard overnight. And that whatever video is probably still sitting at no more than 200 views. And I worked hard, like I didn't sleep at all. So like if I wasn't aware of like the whole instant gratification scenario, I would be really bummed out about that. But I'm aware of how this whole process is going to be, so I'm built for the battle. It doesn't get me down as much. That's what keeps me going.
mm,
But I personally, I don't say I have too many things that beat me down. I guess I would say, um, just putting in work and not getting the reception you're looking for, which can happen. Uh, can be maybe one of the downsides. But that's like I said with anything. Um, I haven't got to a point where people are talking or giving me comments or anything, so I can't say like negative feedback or anything or dealing with that because I'm dealing with haters or whatever you want to call them all my life, people
mm,
that are negative towards me. So
mm,
that's nothing new. I guess the influx of how many people would be doing it at once might be overwhelming or something. That's the only change I could think about. But yeah, I don't really have too much. Like I'm always geared to do some stuff. I guess maybe, just people uh not no support or something like that
mm.
might be the only thing that like gets you down or something like that, or like being excited for things and then presenting it and no one else is excited about it or for you or something. But it's like one of those things. It's like, you tell someone you're excited for something, they're not excited for you, and then they show you something and you're supposed to be like, oh my God, kind
Yeah,
of deal.
yeah, yeah.
That can, get you down because then it feels like no one cares about what you're trying to do. And then on YouTube side, you're not getting any views. Online, no one cares. IRL, no one cares. That can get
Yeah.
somebody down, but I already know that's gonna be the deal.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm glad I went through all that kind of stuff. So like now, like nothing anyone do. If you don't watch my video now, it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, that's what people been doing. So like
Yeah.
my bar is so low, kind of deal that now it's
Mm-hmm.
easier for me to focus on making videos and not making every video have to be the greatest creation I've ever made because I'm assuming no one's gonna watch this. So like I put some good effort into it because you can't make it somewhere if you're not giving effort. But I don't put so much effort into it and lose sleep anymore and stuff like that and mess up my stream schedule to
Yeah.
get no views. I don't do that anymore.
That's like me when I first started trying to stream. I got so discouraged because I would be streaming to no viewers, talking to myself for an hour, and then I'd be like, "But was that like?" I felt like that was a waste of time, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a part of
Yeah.
territory. Like, it's just part of like I've heard like the first 2 3 years you might just go with no viewers, and you just have to be okay with that. But a year by itself is such a long time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Like,
mean,
damn.
and like it's crazy. Like when you look back on it, like I do it for like 12 to 16 hours at a time sometimes. and like regularly. Like most people do, like it'll be a special day, they stream 12 hours. That's like absurd, 12 hours to me is a normal day.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can ask Wanted, like that's a very normal day for me. That's almost breakfast to me. That's still short to me. Like there's not
Yeah.
enough hours in the day sometimes when I'm streaming. Like so like I hear all the time people are like, I just stream 1-2 hours and one viewer, and they're like bummed to hell and they're like exhausted. And I'm just like, that's it. My countdown screen is 2 hours. What do you mean? No, I'm kidding. Like
But yeah, I feel
yeah,
like
so
I feel like all the metrics that are there don't really help. So I've been streaming for a year, but probably less 'cause I took a break. But people are like, "You're doing so good. You're doing so good. You're doing great." I'm like, "No, I'm not," because I'm looking at the numbers. But then about 4 or 5 months in, I was like, you know what? I'm done. So I turned off my viewer count live so I can't see it. I only see it afterwards. People will still come in like, "Oh wow, you have like 15 viewers." I'm like, "Oh really? I guess." And I just keep playing the game because like when you keep looking at that number, it's like you want it to go up and it distracts you from what you're actually doing. And I realized that the content was going down because I was trying to get the number to go up. Then when I ignored
yeah.
the number completely, it just went up by itself. And I think that's important for people that are getting into the content creation space to realize that the numbers don't really matter. I mean, they do, but first and foremost, you should have fun in what you're doing, at least, and make sure it's what you actually want to do and not just look for the numbers.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that kills content creators, any content creator, and a lot of people will be like, "Who what does he know? He doesn't, he hasn't made it big."
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't think I know what I'm talking about. But that's the thing is like there's a difference between understanding the game at a high level and playing the game at a high level. I'm someone who understands just about everything I do or try to do at a high level. Like, I don't like to speak a lot of knowledge unless I know. If I'm still like, I think that's most times you won't hear it come out of my mouth until I like that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to be sure. So one thing I've noticed though with these content creators, the biggest thing that most of them, especially ones that are trying to come up, the biggest mistake is one, laziness. I suffer from it and I'm constantly disciplining myself on it, but not just making videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that two sayings, you miss every shot you don't take, and you can't win the lottery if you're not in it, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure it's phrased a different way, but that's basically the meaning of it. It's kind of like that, I can't become big in content if there's no content to become big or to make big, to follow or sub to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest issues. And the second issue is people are aiming for something that's way out of their reach too soon. People are aiming to be a Logan Paul or David Dobrik or something like that. And they live in a house like mine with nobody to make the content with, but they're trying to like force the content, or
Yeah.
they're trying to fake the content or this or that. And it's like, do a small version of it, or sometimes you might have to do content in another area and then bring stuff from there to where you want to go. That's actually the strat now. Is people will jump into like a game category and play it for a little bit to get up some followers and then
Mm-hmm.
move to the original plan in the first place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he did this, but like Aiden Ross, he's a big streamer. He was playing 2K. It has something he loves playing. He still plays it now. He played 2K for a while, got pretty good off that. And then I believe he moved over to GTA, got real
Mm-hmm.
big off of that, whatever. And then he does just like IRL streams and stuff like that. And now he's just thriving off of that. And I don't know if that was the original plan. I'm pretty sure playing games was just the original thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's just one example of
Yep.
being
Yep.
able to make it big and somewhere else where maybe if he had started there, he wouldn't have made it.
Do you guys think that in order to blow up, you have to like have that one video that just gets shared and all that stuff, or do you think it can be like a slow progression where like maybe your video never blows up, but some people watch this video and they stick around, then another video you put out, some different people see it and stick around, and it grows that way? Or do you think you have to blow up from like one video being like epic or something?
I'll
Well,
let you go first, sorry.
all right.
Because I know I was already like a paragraph into my response halfway through this question. So
I feel like it depends on what platform you're on, and that's another way to, I guess, not cheat the system, but to do better is to spread out a little bit, not spread yourself thin, but let's do like YouTube and Twitch. 'Cause I feel like If I had started doing both, I may have been a little bit further along because YouTube is better in terms of being able to be discovered, and Twitch is there for like live. So if you want to blow up, YouTube will work, and if you want to grow gradually, I think Twitch will be better for that. That's all I have.
Um, I think yes and no on what he said. So you want to grow gradually, you can definitely do the Twitch thing. Oh, did we lose him?
No, his camera's probably on now.
Oh, um, so oh wait, on the stream it shows that I'm gone and he's gone. um, so with the Twitch thing, you can definitely do it. It's definitely an option to be on Twitch and take the slow approach and grow that way. I think even if you want to go the slow approach, the atmosphere we're in now, you can't just get on Twitch and just stream. Typically, you can't just get on Twitch and just stream and make it big. You can, it is definitely possible, but
Mm-hmm.
generally that is not the way people make it. So even if you want to do the slow rise, you need to do YouTube videos. But in terms of the original question, um, you don't have to have a video that blows up. Uh, it doesn't have to happen that way. You definitely can have a slow rise. It's just obviously not the most fun way. I think though it is the best way to blow up overnight, but the unsafest way because you haven't really formed your content yet. So like right now, like I'm still trying to figure out my content stuff like that, but I've kind of got an idea what I want to do. So if I blew up overnight, all of a sudden I'm gonna have all these fans because of this one thing I did in the video. And then when all of a sudden I'm not making that thing they want anymore and the content falls off, people start to struggle because they never really figured out the waves of making content or anything like that. That's like why David Dobrik is so successful. Me and my brother were checking out his content the other day, and his content goes so far back, and you could tell the formula he uses now he was using in the very beginning. And his very first video that we could find anyways, it killed me. I didn't even see the intro was like this well thought out intro, and you think it's going this way, and it smacks you out of left field with this like twist, and it's hilarious. And I noticed that like that format, it might not have worked, and he probably would have changed up, but he noticed it worked, and he had time to craft it out and make his videos feel exactly the same as they did back then. But obviously, he's upgraded stuff. He lives in a big house. He's going places, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so he's had time to figure that out. Whereas if he had blew up overnight, like with one video, like some crazy snipe or something like that, he might have thought that like this was the content or this was the way to go, and it wasn't. Just that video or clip was the way to go, and he
Mm-hmm.
keeps doing that, and then the content falls off. And a lot of people, once they decided I'm not watching you anymore, that's it. A lot of people block you out of their mind forever, and if
Yeah.
they hear about you blowing up again, they might pick you back up or go peek and see what's going on, check the video out. Oh, it's just one video, it's just whatever. So like once you have that decline and people have that mentality, that's why a lot of people become one hit wonders, or they just fall off and never come back. Like Ninja, he's still obviously rich and doing great and successful, but he's not achieving numbers and never will, probably. And that's no down on him, just he probably will never touch those numbers again because he popped up overnight. He hadn't really crafted the formula of doing his content. Even though he'd been doing it for years, he had been doing this certain way, and then he popped off overnight and had to change up really quickly, like how he's doing his formula to keep, his fans. But that wasn't really Ninja, the family friendly stuff and all that. It wasn't really Ninja.
Mm.
So when he stopped doing that, he lost all his people.
I think that touches on a couple of things for me. I watch a guy named Mr. Fruit. He does Destiny videos, and that's why I found him. And over time, I kept watching him and watching him and watching him because I'm kind of loyal in a sense. I'll keep watching your content until I realize, like, I don't like it anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
I just liked watching his videos because the editing was good. He's a wholesome person, etc. But then after a while, he felt drained because he also had to do the same video all the time to keep his numbers up. Until one day he
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know what, I don't care anymore. So he started playing games that he actually wanted to play, and the numbers didn't change because over time, the people that came actually stayed for him. And I think that's an important thing to look for in content creation, where you have to find people that are there for you and not just chase the numbers, which I said before. Like, I'm gonna play Destiny because people like Destiny. I'm gonna play Call of Duty because people like Call of Duty. I'm just gonna play games that I like, and if someone comes and they enjoy the vibe, they'll stay, you know? And you have to kind of trust the system. And even with Ninja blowing up, it changed his whole world because he was used to just doing this, and now you have to become something else. And then, like you said, that changes the whole perception people have of you, and then things just change from there.
Yeah, see there's there's two types of blowing up I describe to people. There's small blowing up or medium blowing up, whatever you want to call it, and then there's big blowing up. It's kind of like it's kind of like celebrities they already have this in a sense. Like there's a celebrity list, A tier, B tier, D tier, all that good stuff. It's the same thing with like Twitch. You can blow up and have the 15,000 viewer range, 4,000 to 15,000, like uh Rage and Daquan Wiltshire, people like that. I don't know their exact numbers, but I believe that's where they sit. And then you can have the old crazy numbers or some of the still numbers that people like Aiden Ross, Tim the Tatman, Nick Merckx get, which is up in like the 40 grand, 60 grand. Aiden's getting like 100 grand, stuff like that. There's that blowing up, and then there's the smaller blowing up. And for the smaller blowing up, you can make the videos where it takes time, or you can blow up overnight, but you acquire your community and you have the people that really just like you.
Hmm.
But if you want to have that big blowing up, you've got to do the shock thumbnails. You've got to do the trendy TikTok dances and this and that or whatever it is. I'm not
Hmm.
saying you have to, but typically you've got to succumb to some kind of trend or some kind of thing that wasn't
Hmm.
your original plan, unless
Yeah.
you were planning to just, I guess, for lack of better terms, sell out in some kind of way. Unless that was your original plan, at some point you've got to get those numbers.
Yeah.
Like there's some people that did probably switch over to another category, do really well that they didn't plan to. For instance, the people that do the bikini hot tub stuff, that was none of those girls' original plan. It wasn't even a thing a couple of years ago. They
Yeah.
were doing just dance in bikinis and this and that. They didn't start Twitch looking to do hot tub streams. Even if they were looking to exploit the system, that wasn't the original plan.
Hmm.
But they seen something and moved to it because that's what you got to do if you want to be Amaranth, top of the stream of women streamers or this category. You've got to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Some people do make it, like XQC. I believe XQC made it straight off of just who his personality was.
Hmm.
People were interested in the toxic gaming and this and that. He probably fished it, farmed it, whatever, a little bit. But I'm pretty sure that was overall genuinely him. And even had a couple controversies in between all that stuff,
Hmm.
or that whole era. And then now he's just like kind of more lax and chill because he's grown up a little bit. But he's not doing Overwatch or any of that content anymore. He's doing GTA and stuff, and he's thriving really well, but not really originally what he came in to do. But he didn't change up. So
Yeah.
some people can make it.
So what I'm hearing is I have to pander to the audience and I have to be half naked.
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
a good checklist?
Um, you said pander to the audience and what?
And then be half naked.
Um, yeah. I mean, one of the two. You don't have to do both, unless. Well, that's a touchy topic. Never mind. I
I'm
won't
gonna
say
try
that.
and
But yeah,
overachieve here. I'm gonna come on screen with my top off, wearing a bikini underwear. Wait, is that TOS if I was to do that?
No.
no.
There you go. And I'll do an exercise stream. So I'll just be doing squats for like,
Well, there are guys that do that. They do exercise streams. They do workout streams.
Yeah.
oh really? I thought that was a meme.
No.
No.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. I could do exercise stream, especially like late at.
Nick Merckx does it sometimes. Like a lot of the Fortnite streamers, there's this phase going on where I guess they're all realizing, holy shit, we just sit behind a computer and have been doing this for like 3-4 years, and they're all hitting the gym now. Nick Merckx, well, he's been big, but Cypher PK went and hit the gym, lost a bunch of weight, got real fit. Tfue, who was already small but was like slim, he got real fit. Like just a bunch of there's that one dude who was real big and like the man looks great now. He's big as fuck. I forget his name. Black hair. He talks to Pokimane. He's friends with her. I forget his name, man. But this dude was like real big back a couple of years back, and this man went through a major transformation. But yeah, there's like this big wave of like that going on or whatever. So those streamers are filming that like when they go to the gym and stuff like that. So even the big streamers are doing the workout stuff. If it's like regarding you saying it's like a meme, yeah, even the big streamers are doing it and act like being serious about it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're streaming, right, do you have to
Mm.
use a separate camera for like going around doing stuff, like an actual actual camera, or is there some kind of setup that, or can you use your phone to do like an IRL kind of thing? I'm just asking out of curiosity, not necessarily because I think that you're doing that already, but I just want to know what you knew about it.
I believe there's like different setups. You can have like these things. You can basically take your phone and turn it into like a whole portable studio. You have like a mic coming off of it with your camera and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure it feeds into your phone or some adapter that then your phone, if you've got good service or whatever it is, can stream it all. I'm pretty sure that's most of the time the setup. A lot of times I see people with like an actual like, Nikon or something camera or whatever. I don't even know if they're a brand anymore. Um, but like a Nikon camera or something like that. And then they've got the giant boom mic on the top and stuff like that with the giant light that
Hmm.
floodlight. Yeah, I think that's typically the setup.
When I did it, I went to a hotel and we were at the pool and I was streaming on my phone. So your phone is pretty much all you need, really.
Yeah, you mean you can? Yeah, you could just do it straight with your phone. And if you want to upgrade a little bit, small amount, you could just get a microphone that hooks up to the phone and
Hmm.
talk into it or something.
Yeah.
All right. So look out, guys. Soon there's gonna be some exercise streams at 6 a.m. That's what time I was working out last night. I was working out till 6 a.m. because, man, I just got around. I was like, I can't skip today.
Mm.
I can't skip. So then I just ended up working out. I could have streamed that.
I have a question based on
Missed
around
out.
this. So, Ronan, how do you maintain your physical and mental health as a content creator?
I don't.
Okay.
That's yes, and the wrong person. I don't. I don't at all. I got a lot of soda cans in my trash can. I believe I had fried chicken, uh macaroni and cheese, and some stuffing last night. And then not even 30 minutes later, I had chocolate banana pancakes, two of them with a lot of syrup.
Mm.
Yeah, so not so good. Not so well. And I know what should be done though, and I highly recommend if you can exercise. I don't think you're gonna die if you don't exercise as a streamer, especially if you stream as long as I do. But you definitely should get up and stretch, stuff like that. A lot of senators, stuff like that. I remember Hillary Clinton one year, she had blood clots. It was a serious problem for her because you got to think all you do is sit at a desk all day. So when you sit and stuff all day, you start to form those clots. And if you do it, I'm surprised to this fucking day that I've not got one
Mm.
because of how long I sit at a desk. Like if she got one, how am I not? I mean, she's older, but
Mhm.
still, I definitely recommend getting up and stretching, walk around, keep that blood flowing. Definitely drink properly. Even if you're a fatty like me, drink sodas all day is cool, whatever. But at least get some water in there, something. Can't just flood your body with straight gamer fuel all day. You gotta eat something right,
Mm.
drink something right. Um, and as far as mental health goes, just have friends. Literally, just have friends. I can tell you from someone who doesn't have the greatest mental health, or I wouldn't say I'm like mental or anything like that. Just I'm not, it's not serotonin just flowing up there.
Mhm.
Not a river of serotonin up there. Um, that's probably the biggest thing, and also like having not a lot in life. Growing up from basically nothing kind of deal, having nothing, the one, if I could have one thing out of everything on the graph, I would have friends. That's the biggest thing you could have is friends. Because at the end of the day, if everything got taken away, we went into a mass nuclear, whatever, fallout, blah, 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 dark ages, grid goes off, whatever it is, all this money goes away, all this technology, these streaming, all this shit goes away, and Ninja is the same as me. Computer don't even work. Games can be played. You now just me.
Mhm.
You gotta get a job growing in a field now because we're in a nuclear holocaust or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, if all that goes down, all we've got is each other kind of deal. So I think when it comes down to mental health and just enjoying life, that's the best thing. I mean, the worst fear probably any human has collectively to share, other than dying, is being the last person on Earth.
Mhm.
And why is that? Because even no human wants to go life alone or something like that. So when it comes to mental health, I think that's the most important thing when I like tie everything together, it always leads back to having peers or something. People, who care, like, what's all the money in the world if you got no one to share it with?
Sir, that's a good answer.
What about you, Meankno? How do you maintain your mental health as a content creator?
First of all, I'm not a content creator. Well, I guess I am now. I guess I am
Yes.
now, but it's hard to think of myself that way. Um, I think what Ronan said is right. Having those social IRL social interactions and connections with people, it's a little hard for me because I live in the States and I'm originally from an island where I'm accustomed to people being like within like walking distance. Even though walking distance might be a few miles,
Yeah.
I can just walk to someone's house. But now I have friends who live in Virginia and I live in Maryland, for example. Oh no, don't DDoS me, anybody. My zero viewers. But I have friends who live like in DC, and I don't live that close. It's like a 2-hour drive,
Hmm.
So stuff like that is hard to like. And then people have weird hours. Like my friend, his job, he only has Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. That's his weekend. And then my weekends are just a normal weekend. So when can we ever like get together to do something, Um, and then some of my friends just live so far or they're wrapped up with their kids, and I don't have kids yet.
Hmm.
So it's really hard. But I think the good news is we have the internet and we have virtual chat, so I can do things like this with you guys where I can see you, I can interact with you. Maybe we can't do something in person like a escape room or something, but at least we can still have that social interaction. And I think that's good for mental health.
Yeah, that's actually what I
Um,
meant too, was just having sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just
so
having friends, period, not even IRL, like just having friends online, because especially in the time we're living with either pandemic, I don't know if that's safe to talk about or even say. I know on YouTube you can't even say that. Um
oh, you can
but
talk
I
about
know
it.
I know we weren't live, so that's why I said I don't know if
That's
Twitch
all
is the
good.
same way.
I don't care either
Um
way.
but living in those times, and then just the social engineering times we live in, having online friends is just as good as having IRL friends. Back in the day, if someone said they had all their friends were on the game, you'd be like, wow, you're a loser, you only got friends on the internet, which wouldn't make sense now, but back then it did, and that would have been an insult. But now if I said, all my homies are on Xbox Live, people would just be like, oh, okay, like it's just normal. It'd be just as
Hmm.
normal if I said all my friends live down the street. So having online friends, anything that is social, people that you can always come back to. And I don't mean just going into a chat room and talking to people. I mean literally having friends, because it's not the same when you don't when you if when it's just random people all the time, you feel like just a random person wandering around. But when you have friends, you feel like you belong to something. So
Yeah.
online friends online counts as well, because like getting on the game and being alone feels just as alone as going outside and or going to a function and being the only person there, or not going anywhere because no friends. It feels
Hmm.
exactly the same when I get on Destiny and I don't have a squad that's like, hey,
Yeah.
how much it sucks to see memes on the internet where it's like when you finally sign online and you get a party invite, you join, and all the boys go, hey, he's here. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, buddy. I don't know what it's like to join a party and everyone's like, oh, he's here. Nope.
Yeah.
Maybe back when I was 16, I might have had that interaction a couple of times, but I can't remember.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yo, that's true, man. Um, I would say, well, I agree with you, but I sometimes feel like real in-person interactions are a little bit higher. Well, what's the word I want to use?
Definitely more
Like if I had
rewarding.
to,
There's
if I had
nothing
to
like
rank,
laughing in person or falling
yeah,
on the
it's
floor
like,
in person with your friends than knowing
yeah,
that you're all falling on the floor laughing online. It's
yeah,
not.
it's,
It's
it's
definitely
it's a
not the
little
same.
different, but I do agree with you though. I do think that online virtual friends are just, well, not just, but are valuable because if like you're someone like me who live in the States but you don't have any friends nearby, like the alternative is what? you know, be
Hmm.
by yourself. Well,
Yeah,
I guess I'm married, so I'll be with my wife all the time. That's
yeah,
not gonna work.
yeah. That's actually, and that's the best example I use for that. By the way, is the hanging out with people and laughing. And you ever had that moment where you laugh so hard you're all falling on the floor and
Mm,
you're laughing for probably
yep.
about 3 to 5 minutes straight, to the point where your stomach's hurt, maybe your throat too.
Yeah.
Um, what makes that moment, like we could all have that right now where we're all dying and I look over and you're dying and I see you fall on the floor and I see you fall
Yeah.
on the floor and then you see me fall on the floor. And we all know we're all on the floor, but it's not the same as when you do it in person because like I break it down into detail because like you fall on the floor and your homie falls on the floor and you're both laughing and you both look at each other and you make each other laugh even more, or you're
Mhm.
laughing because you know he's dying or whatever. That whole moment builds itself because of the different things that happen in that moment. Once you fall off camera, that's it. Those things, those little interactions can't happen, which it's crazy when I break it down like that. But like that's what makes the moment in or have that scenario in the moment more sweeter than doing it uh not, I guess it would still be in the moment, but like not doing it IRL in person. So
Yeah.
like, because like for me, hanging out with you guys like this is just like hanging out in person until something like that happens. That's really the only thing that separates it for me. I guess because I'm so used to this, but like, and I'm not a touchy feely person. So it's not like when we were 16 and you're hitting at each other. So like, I'm not really like touching on people or something like that. So this is no different than hanging in person or something like that, unless like we're passing beers or something or clinking beers, stuff like
Mhm.
that is what changes it, makes it better. So like with what he was saying, like it, I agree that in person is way better, but you know, online obviously counts too. But yeah, in person is way better.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too, the physical contact thing. Because it's
Yeah,
funny, I'm also a person, I'm not a touchy-feely person. I don't like being touched for the most part.
yeah.
But there's still like that option for physical contact, I
Yeah,
guess.
potentially, yeah, like high fives or something like that, or you
Right,
know, maybe
right.
or maybe you're comfortable with it, so you and your buddy, yo, punch in the shoulder, some shit, you know, all that good shit.
I came from a world of zero friends. Well, I want to say zero friends, but my friendships were more so not what I would like them to be. So like my college friendships are better than my high school friendships. So in high school I had no friends, not because of anything else besides working for my parents and making sure things were good at home. So I didn't have the time to go out and be with people. So when I was in school, that was the best time of my life. And then after that, college was a little bit different, where I was a little bit more free to do what I wanted to do. I started to make sure home was good because I was the oldest. But then I started making friends online, and then that became where I could shine because it was my true personality, one. And two, it was just easy to just talk to people. People also talking to me as well. Even to this day, people just talk to me about things. And I think that helps me with my friendships, being able to listen, digest what they're saying, and then give them a response that helps them feel better or helps them make a decision about something. And I think that's how streaming helped me with my mental health. So it actually helped me help myself because I made friends I could talk to and actually build something on. And I know like if I want to play Paladins, I could ask you, you'd be down anytime. If I want to play another game, I got somebody else to play. And it's like you have these little microcosms of friendships that when you need a certain type of friend, like I need to be hyped, I'll come to you. If I want to be chill, I'll go somewhere else. Like you have these things that you can find thanks to streaming, for me at least, and that's what helps me get by with it. And also just ignoring the metrics and just it's just another day of gaming or whatever. It doesn't really matter at the end.
Yeah. I have an off-topic thing to talk about, guys.
Shoot.
Because my brain just went there, which is I don't know how old you guys are. Well, I do know how old Wanted is, but I don't really know how old Ronin is. But back in the days, back in my times, before the internet existed and stuff like that, and before like instant messaging and all these kind of stuff, you know, I remember you had to like talk to girls and get rejected in person. But then like once the internet came, I don't know, is it only me, but it felt easier to talk to people compared to like doing it in person.
But definitely.
Uh,
Like
is
even video
easier.
chatting is easier, kind of.
It's easier for two reasons. One, obviously, it's online, so disconnecting from said person is also easier. But rejection is easier. As you were talking about, you had to get rejected in person. Getting rejected online is easier because you just got to read the text. You just don't have to feel the cold interaction of it's kind of the same thing. Just everything IRL is a lot different than not IRL, no matter whether it's through a webcam or through to digital texting or pictures or video. It's never going to be the same. Watching a concert through a video is never going to be the same as actually being there. Even though you're hearing the same music, same thing, hearing it as loud as it is, even though it's fucking up your eardrums, it's all different than not doing it IRL. So like the rejection, hearing someone say the words to you, they could say the same exact sentence, but the tone, being able to hear tone and really know how they mean it, see their facial expressions, all that is a lot different than just reading the words and having a stock face to match it to, or a still face rather to match it to. It's a lot different, and it's easier to just. I've never even met you, and chances are I've never seen you until I met you on Tinder. So chances are I'll still never see you IRL. So if I just block, unmatch, whatever, and act like this never happened, I can just chances are I'll be able to avoid it for the rest of my life. Unless you have bad luck and ironically you meet that person in the mall middle next week, or the next day, ironically, which I have that kind of luck. So yes, it is possible, but typically you won't. So yeah, that's why it's so easy to talk to people. Is rejection is easier to go through, and disconnecting is easier. Again, not just on rejection, but like if person's weird, creepy, you can just block them, be done with it. In person, if a person's creepy, you've got to figure out how to get away from that person. If you're the kind of person that doesn't want to offend, even though they're the creepy ones, there's some people I know that are like that. They're just so nice, they don't want to offend anyone, or they don't want to say rude things, blah blah blah. You've got to figure out how to get away from the situation. Then you've got to make sure, if you're like in this day and age, a female, you've got to make sure you get down the street and no one's following you, then in your car, blah blah blah. And then that said person's probably still making sure they're not being followed. If that person also had a car, like it's at the grocery store, some kind of, there's a lot of things that come IRL with trying to get out of that situation and disconnecting from the person versus on a phone. So yeah, definitely a lot easier for like a lot of reasons. And that's the humans have a problem with attaching to things that are easy to do or make things lazier to do. So that's why we also have dug deeper into technology, because it's easy. It makes things easier. Why would a guy, especially like a teenage boy, not date a girl through online and do online dating versus IRL dating when he can get rejected and then just blow it off and it not be in front of a bunch of people unless the messages are shown? That's another thing. You've rejected a person, it's probably in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah. But you know
All that
something?
ties.
I hate to keep sounding old, right? But I
No,
feel I feel like something is lost by that. Like, I get it that it's easier for, especially for younger teens and stuff, to not get rejected in public. But I
yeah.
feel like that helps build character and like confidence and stuff like that. Like I know, like me, when I was trying to talk to girls and I got rejected and stuff like that, it just taught me like not to give up. It just taught me like to get thicker skin and stuff like that. Like even now, like people say, I think this was a topic that you kind of wanted to talk about before, which was thick skin versus thin skin. People who, like, nowadays everything offends everyone, right? And I
Yeah.
think like in the past, people had thicker skin because they had more in-person interactions and you had to deal with a wide range of people and wide range of personalities in person. And so you had to develop like stand up for yourself kind of mentality. And nowadays it's like now everybody's anonymous and behind a screen, so you don't have to stand up for yourself. You can just block someone, so
It's funny you mentioned this because it was actually a whole like TikTok topic I wanted to do one day, which was I do have topics, but the things like I say, it either pops up and I was like I'll do it now, or it's forgotten until someone brings it up, or I just don't care anymore. But one of them was on the whole thick skin, and then the cell phone thing or the media thing. Kids having to go to school through Zoom. I was talking to someone or whatever, just talking about how like that's really going to mess kids up because they're going to lose out on everything that makes people people in high school. For instance, those kids that talk too much shit and get away with slick shit, the keyboard warriors in school, they got to get their shit punched in and they got to learn that lesson. Or a bully who bullies people, it's like, yeah, the kid's not going to get bullied because the bully doesn't exist now. He's not in school. And I'm not saying we need to have bullies, but when there are bullies, those people learn through getting their shit beat or whatever it is. When, because a bully, the best way to beat them sometimes, I'm not saying to encourage violence. I'm just saying, if you fight a bully back, whether it's through whatever it is, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, is what I'm saying. and it gets that bully, to learn, hey, okay, I'm not as tough as I thought I was. Or dating girls, like you said, talking to a girl in person, they don't handle rejection as like a kid today's age will not handle rejection as well as I can, because I've been rejected in person many times or whatever, or enough times for like me to have built that steel skin versus them. The first time they ever get rejected by a girl, they're going to piss themselves because that's never happened to them before. They're going to be so embarrassed because it's never, and it didn't happen to them until they were an adult because they went to school through Zoom for a good while or whatever. So they missed out on a lot of high proms, just all those things that you look back on that make your character today, that you think back on as lessons or good memories or whatever it is. All that stuff is going to be missed out on. And that just ties into what he was saying about just like technology. That's just one of those factors of being able to like block people and not have to like deal with the interaction. Those interactions are needed to build your character sometimes, whether it's this person learning not to run the mouth so much, or maybe that weaker person getting bullied needs, I'm not saying needs to get bullied, but he wasn't going to get stronger anywhere else. So that bullying will be the chapter that makes him stronger, and I'm not saying he needs it, but that's the thing that makes him, go to the gym or whatever it is, or, so while like it's, I don't know, I want to say it's like a circle of life thing. Like we don't need the bully and we don't need this person to be bullied, but they help each other. Like bullies him, makes him stronger. Then he gets stronger, beats bully's ass. Bully now becomes not bully. This guy now stands up for himself, and this guy's a lot nicer. PEMDAS. I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're trying to say. Like you're not trying to encourage bullying,
No, not at
but
all.
you're
Like not at all.
saying that you're saying that
What we have is what we
it's a
got, and
part
then
of
just
life.
figuring out how it works and why it works.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a part of life, right? There's always gonna, not always, but it's very likely that often there's gonna be someone who's gonna be a bully and
Yeah, for
someone who's
multiple
gonna be the
reasons.
bullied. And
Yep.
you have to learn to navigate that. Like that's just part of life. It's not
Yeah.
wanted or needed per se, but it's just something that you have to
I'm just
figure out.
navigating with the tools that we've been given. Like
Right.
bullies are naturally going to occur, so with that, we utilize it by making this person that be stronger, something like that. I mean, this person could have been made stronger a lot of different other ways, but a lot of times in like public schools, city schools, that's how that's utilized. And then later, the bully becomes not the bully. We don't just have bullies roaming schools making people tougher, But
Yeah.
that's
Hiring bullies.
it's
Hey,
just
can
like
you go to this school and make these kids tough?
it's like a food chain, but in a evolution kind of way. Like instead of us eating, this person eats this and this person eats this person helps this person and that person does this for this person, blah blah blah. And it just, the different ways that we interact with each other evolve us as humans to become the adults we become, kind of deal. So that's why you need all the social interactions, or whatever it is, going to school, being in clubs, doing this, doing that. Being behind technology is going to destroy kids if like especially if they were like in Zoom class the whole time. They won't know how to deal with anything, job interviews, dating, nothing. They'll have none of that.
One thing I want to add, taking away that interpersonal interaction is gonna cause something I think worse to happen, because now, back in the day when you want to date somebody, it would take you weeks or even months to build the courage to even speak to them in the first place. But now you could just scroll through as many as you want and just send the same message to every single person. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? So it's like you lose that aspect of actually working for what you want. Even if you get rejected, you still have to work there. But nowadays it's just like send 10 girls the same message or response. That's the one. And that's not how you actually supposed to like pick somebody. But that's what we have now, and that's what taking away with classrooms, going on Zoom. You can't actually talk to the girl that you want to talk to. You just talk to all the girls in the class, whoever responds to, that's who you
All at
talk to.
once.
Yeah, so it's like it
Yeah.
takes away that building up of courage that you need to do different things.
That was another thing. It takes away memories. It wasn't just like lessons, stuff like that. It takes away your memories of, remember when we were in class and Scott Pilgrim did this. Like
Hmm.
it takes away, all of that stuff, or interactions with teachers or any of the stuff. There's a lot of teachers that are like really responsible, more than my own parents sometimes, for like the person I am today, or a trait that I have, or a thing I remember, or a thing I do or don't do. A
Hmm.
lot of teachers are responsible for that. and they don't even know. But yeah, so like there's just so much that like you'll miss out on just in school. We're just talking about school alone.
Yeah, I'm glad you
If
said that too. Because you spend 8 hours in school, then you come home and you sleep, and then you go back to school. So that's where you spend most of your time anyway. So like
yeah,
nowadays, your parents have to be the ones that actually teach you the things that your teachers would have taught you, and they're
which
not
is
really
another
equipped to do that.
topic, is a whole separate topic. I'm just going to list it, that I wanted to maybe do a video on or something, is that parents aren't so responsible for their kids as people say, because they always say, like, badly behaved kid, behaves bad at school, blah blah blah. Well, it's probably the parents at home and this and that. And while yes, true, but like I just said, all the stuff that I know, a lot of values male teachers taught me. My dad, how would he have had time? He's
Hmm.
at work, whatever. Sometimes my parents would not even be home when I got home, whatever. But even if they were home, I was with my teachers all day. They were raising me. And so I've grown up hearing all the time that, like, it's never the teacher, never the teacher. And I'm actually willing to say it's 60-40, and even maybe 70-30 on the teacher being more responsible in raising the kid during the school years, not obviously during the summer, but during the school years, are actually more responsible in certain ways for how you're raised, because they control how you behave and what you're allowed to do and not do all day and stuff like that. It's just the parents, I think, job to enforce. You listen to that teacher when you go to school. They're like parent. It's like the cop. Like the cop is the judge until you get to court. They're your teacher or your parent until you get home. And but I've got to be able to trust, like the cop. The judge needs to be able to trust the cop's judgment. I need to be able to trust the teacher's judgment before they get home, to trust that I can turn my back and you handle my kid like anybody else, just handing your kid over to any babysitter. They're
Hmm.
literally your babysitter, and they influence what your kid does more than the parent does. So I don't know. I feel like that's a topic that no one's ready to talk about, is that teachers are actually more responsible sometimes. Sometimes. That's why I said it's like 60-40. But that I got to thinking about that from thinking about how much you're in school and the social interactions and stuff. I ended up branching off and thinking about that.
Yeah, very very apt um, thing you just said there, because that's something I never actually thought about. Uh, that's a topic I've never thought about, and I know like it's kind of like cliche where people are like, "Oh, it's the parents' fault that you don't have good
Mm-hmm.
manners or whatever." But yeah, that what you said makes sense. It is really teachers mostly, because I a lot of my memories are of different things and teachers telling me, or like I picked up from them and I'm like, this
Yeah.
makes sense to me, you know. But I want to go back and say something. I took some notes here. We're talking about bullying earlier, and it reminded me of a lot of comedian stories. Like a lot of comedians are like, "Well, I used to get bullied, but then like I was a funny guy, so people wouldn't pick on me." Or I used to like people would want to beat me up, but then I would crack a joke, and then they would be like, all right, you good, you can leave, whatever." Like that's what that reminded me of. And then and then Wanted was talking about like on apps, people swiping right and then just giving everyone the same, like, "Hey, how you?" or whatever. And that made me think about like how the culture is now, like is like a hookup culture where people aren't really trying to like farm meaningful relationships. They're just trying to like get a nut and move on. And I don't know, like I'm not like religious or anything, like, or I don't have a specific belief in whatever, but I feel like there is some credit here where it's like society is kind of morally falling apart because of stuff like this, where instead of getting actual meaningful bonds, we're just doing these like, I don't know what to call it, but like it's not as meaningful. And that could probably lead to a lot of problems later on down the road.
It's a chain reaction kind of thing. Basically, guy gets on Tinder and is looking for real love and or whatever it is, but he has a bad couple instances and he goes, "Man, these females ain't nothing out here." So then he decides, "I'm just gonna get mine and at least make sure I get my nut off." Blah blah blah. So then he does, and then girls realize and catch on. They're like, "Well, if this guy is gonna be doing that, then I'm gonna do it too, and I'm gonna be all weary." And then it just goes back and forth, eye for an eye, and now we're in the system where everyone's the general standard is to look for a hookup and be lucky if you find a matchup, instead of look for a matchup and be lucky if you find a hookup. Just a
On the rabbit hole of
typical
this one,
thing we do. trend becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's sad.
We do it
Yeah,
all the
I
time.
would.
History repeats itself. I could go back and name like 10 other things that started as like a small trend that a couple people were doing or something like that and became a whole culture or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's something I often say is that history repeats itself. Like
Mhm.
anything that's happening now has happened already in some version, and we literally just have to study history. That's why I always felt like history is the most important topic to study, because you can learn how to avoid making the same mistakes. But I mean, it's not pushed in schools. Mostly science and math are pushed nowadays. So
That's a weird concept though. Can you learn and avoid your mistakes if history always repeats itself?
I
It,
feel like
maybe that's the paradox, and what keeps you in it is trying to avoid the mistake. It's like
mm,
trying to go back in time to save and stop yourself from going back in time, but that's what started the loop. You trying to avoid the trouble is what makes history repeat itself. Like us trying to avoid wars and this and that for whatever reason starts the war, and then when we get finished and then something, then we do it over again.
so what I would say is like maybe not trying to stop the war or not have the war, but maybe change circumstances that led to the war, if that makes sense. So like instead of saying like, okay, we're gonna try to not go to war, and therefore what you do everything in your power to not go to war, but then everything you do basically makes the war start. I think what I'm imagining is like you know specifically like okay, people doing this behavior causes war. So instead of trying to stop the war by preventing this behavior, you create a new behavior. So it's not like avoidance, it's more like implementing something different instead.
Um, to a certain extent, though, I think the whole thing with history repeats itself is like history repeats itself without us trying to, like whether we want to or not. So like when you try to do that new method or whatever it is, somehow, some way, we're gonna find out how to get in a war about that, and that's how we end up repeating ourselves. Even though we made a system specifically to not get in a war like that time, like we were presented with the same scenario, except this time we're like, all right, instead of going left and knowing that shit's gonna fuck us up, we're gonna go right and obviously head towards paradise. Somehow, even though we took the paradise road, it led us right back to war and repeated itself. Because, and I don't know how that I can't make up a scenario right now. I could eventually, but just we'll find a way to mess it up and get in a war again somehow,
but
even on
that
Paradise
in
Road.
itself
Like
does explain it because
weird,
you never
but
know what's gonna happen that someone's gonna take the wrong way or whatever. What I was
yeah,
gonna say is that history repeats itself, but it doesn't look the same, and I think that's the problem there. Like it's
that's
gonna be
why
there's
too.
gonna be a war about something being red, and then a war about something being blue. So like it's gonna repeat itself, yes, but then the reason why is always changing, and we have to
You
have
won't even
more.
see it coming
Yeah,
because
we need
it's a new
more
reason.
foresight instead of having hindsight. Go
Until
ahead,
the
Mina.
history starts repeating the history,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we'll be able to prevent the measures. When we get a war that's over oil again, we should know how to handle it, or at least what the outcome will be due to the
Mm-hmm.
fact we've done the war over oil before. But if the war is over emeralds, a war we've never exactly done before, then it's it's going to be brand new. It might be war, but it's a new topic, so we're not going to know how to fight that war, and we're going to do said method that war won the oil war, and that's going to be the wrong move and get us deeper in the war because it's not the same. It's like a fire. It's not the same fire. You can't put water on this fire and this fire. That one's a
Yeah.
grease fire.
Mm.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say that. Man, you keep beating me to the punch on everything. I was gonna
Oh
say
well,
that,
yeah.
like basically, yeah, history repeats itself. But if it's the same thing that's happening, the exact same thing, I think that that is something where you can be like, okay, I knew, like it's like learning from your experiences. Like if I know in the past that I did this thing, I touched this hot stove and I got burned, well, guess what? I'm not gonna touch the hot stove. I might get burned from something else, but at least I'm not gonna get burned from the stove ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So, or not on purpose ever again. So I think that's kind of like how history is like if you've done it before, you can take from that past mistake or that past whatever it was and have a better outcome. And I think that's why the world is slowly progressing in a,
I,
in my opinion, positive way. But then, as you said, there's always going to be some new reason to do something that we've already done in the past, even though like before we didn't do it for that reason.
I don't think we're guaranteed that we're gonna repeat, like you said, you touch stove and then now it's a soldering iron. You're not gonna touch iron when someone tells you it's hot because you know what hot is, or you can see it's red. You're not gonna repeat it because of similar history, and I think that is true for anything else. If we have similar history, we definitely have the option to fix it or recorrect, new history or new events so that we don't repeat history. But it's not surprising to me that we repeat history because it's not a new event, I guess, is the best way I can word it. I don't expect us to run into it or repeat history, but when we do, I'm never surprised because we've yet to repeat a history that was the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to show example, for example, slavery never will happen again. Why? That's a history we've been through before. We learned the lesson. We know the method of what not to do when it comes to human rights, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that we have done before. But like North Korea or some, I wouldn't call them slaves over there, but some people in other countries that have different ways of living or different government styles, such as America with democracy, might find that more a slave-like style to be under or a hive mind-like. Um, and they've never been through an America slavery age, so they don't know how that works or how the outcome of that goes, or probably haven't been through like a huge dictator phase as long as they've been through one kind of deal, so they don't know exactly how to navigate the situation. And the next time they have one, it'll be a different leader, but he does this with the country, and they don't know exactly how to navigate that. But they know he's a dictator, so they know they can and can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't been through that before, so they haven't been through that exact way of dictatorship.
Yeah.
Wow. We went down the rabbit hole. I don't even know where that conversation started from, but that was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, wanted. Got anything else?
I was trying to throw it to you. 'Cause I was like, damn, like every guest is always something different and always so good. So I appreciate you being here 110%. You really,
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
you really do epitomize the rabbit hole mentality of just going wherever your mind takes you. Go ahead,
Told you,
Meankno.
man.
Yeah, yeah. You're almost like the perfect guest for this
Yeah.
because of the fact that your mind just goes on a topic and then you just go down that road until you get to the end, or maybe it never gets to the end, but then you just keep going. And I think
I've
that's
never
that's
reached the
perfect.
end of a road
Yeah.
before, ever.
So I had random. So while you guys were talking earlier on when I was having technical difficulties, I looked up a bunch of random questions to ask. So if you guys want to try answering some of these questions,
Sure.
Okay.
so for instance, how many chickens do you think it would take to kill an elephant?
I would need to know the species of chicken, honestly.
What? That's what's up. That's what. That's the deciding factor. Is the type of chicken.
Yeah. You know, there's some chickens that are, bred for fighting and, being more vicious. Let's look up the most vicious chickens, and that's the one that I think would
God, a
win.
pit chicken.
So if it's a Sussex chicken, it's got it. But if it's a Plymouth Rock chicken, nah, he's getting his shit rocked.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
My gosh. So
There's
does
a
it matter what
lot
kind of
of chicken
elephant?
species.
Oh
Does it
yeah,
matter what kind of elephant it is too?
yeah. I think it will too.
Well, my answer would simply just be resolved on if or not the elephant is afraid of chickens.
Like how they are with mice or supposedly with mice.
I've never actually seen an elephant be afraid of a mice, but there is another thing I heard of recently and seen a video of elephants are like afraid of. It's like a small animal or something, but they're afraid of them. I don't know why. It's because they're like so small they don't want to like something or some shit. But yeah, I've never seen the mice thing before. But there's another one that I just seen recently that was like real. I was like, holy crap, they are afraid of those though, like deathly afraid. I was thinking it was like because they can't identify something. It was like colors or something on them or something like that. But it's a specific animal. I'm gonna look it up one day or later, and
Yeah,
because
look
I need
it
to
up.
remember.
Yeah, 'cause I want to know now. Now you got me curious.
I would
I'm actually
say 26 chickens.
26.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like an elephant will just body 26 chickens.
Mm.
Okay, so apparently elephants are afraid of anything that moves fast by their feet that is small.
Yeah, I see that.
Maybe because they're big and they can't move that fast.
Can't see it. They're probably really nice creatures and they don't want to kill it.
Yeah.
Elephants are very
They're probably self-aware of
self-aware.
their weight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, who likes having blood underneath their feet? Like, have you ever stepped on an animal before? It sucks.
Not an animal that not enough to create blood.
Yeah, I don't. Well, you stepping
Not
on
by
over there,
mistake.
Meankno.
Like, am I the only one? Okay, let's just move on.
Yo,
You just stepped on a
you stomping
fucking
out
dog
rats,
and then blood.
you stomping out animals like ATL stuff.
No. Wait. Pause.
Black people do that, and I've never understood that. If they got a rat in their crib, they will straight try to stomp the rat. And I'm like, do you not know how physics work and what that results in? Like, I could get if it was like a roach or something, but like you would straight up just squish a whole like I can't even imagine. With your shoe?
With your bare foot, though.
A whole rat? Like that's
That's
guts everywhere. That's
that's
man.
potentially dangerous too. What if the bones like go into your foot or something? No, you just
Yeah,
got
what if
rat
it has
blood
been
in your
aged?
blood. Oh my
Right.
gosh, that's too much.
Yeah, but it wasn't a rat that I stomped on. It was a mistake, first of all, just to be clear, PETA. I
PETA.
stepped on so in the islands we have a lot of lizards, like house lizards.
Mhm.
And I think I stepped on one as a kid by mistake and it felt really gross. It was really gross. And they do have red blood.
Yeah. Okay, what else you got for us?
All right. Next question.
Wait, Ronan, you didn't answer. How many chickens?
Oh yeah.
You didn't say how many either.
I said 26.
That's a random number. Like you didn't have any logic or math behind that. You just said a high number that sounded logical to start.
I have been attacked by one chicken.
Yeah, you're also like
So
maybe
I'm
6'2"?
extrapolating the other 25 being there, and that's not a good day.
At least like 100. I mean, it's got to be a fair amount. If the elephant falls down, he's taking out a quarter of 100 chickens just from falling down alone. If he swings his trunk, that's half the pie right there. Kicks his right foot. There's the other corner. And then back left. Yeah, like, bro.
100.
Yep. They don't stand a chance.
I mean, what's next?
You know what that reminded me of? Like, like in those like scary games or scary movies where it's like a swarm of rats going to kill someone. That's what I'm imagining with the chickens and the elephant. But
Yeah, but
I
what are
don't
they
actually
gonna
have a
do?
number.
Peck?
Huh?
Chickens don't bite; they peck. What are they gonna do? Peck an elephant to death?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like death by 1,000 cuts. But I
And
would say like at least
they got the talents too.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
an
they got
elephant's
talent
faster than
too.
a chicken.
Really?
He's just gonna outrun the chicken.
Let's look up the max speed for each
Oh
animal.
no, here we go.
Oh boy.
This is now officially a research show, guys. We research random things. Tune in.
It'll be fun to edit this.
So I actually had another question. Oh, well, let me get
Mm.
my answer first. I think at least 500 chicken would destroy an elephant.
That's a lot of
At
chickens.
least. Yeah, you can't escape. It's just like you're done as an elephant. Other question was, do you guys think that cavemen experience nightmares about cave women?
Why would
Wait.
what?
Actually, all right. So you had me really intrigued with the first half of the question.
Yeah.
Just like straight nightmares. Like you actually just got me on a whole subject I've never thought about. But before I do that, why women specifically?
Well, cavemen, cavewoman. So like, you know, when you're like when even now, like
You're
sometimes
talking
you
about
have
like there's
those
a guy
dreams.
having a dream about a girl. You're saying did they have a dream about women back then?
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're
Or
saying.
even just nightmares in general. I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
I
yeah.
would assume so. Yeah,
I think so.
especially in a time where you can't understand your thoughts or feelings and they run wild as a caveman. You probably don't understand shit. You just hard like
Oh,
yeah, probably.
wait. You
And
think
in
they
some
couldn't
sense,
understand
there
why
might
they
be
were getting hard?
No,
that
no.
might be. Oh man, I lost him somewhere along the road there. I'm just saying, in an era where they don't understand anything, it's easy for. I think they probably had dreams about that all the time. Actually, probably.
But I think most
If
of
not
their
that, then other stuff like food. I mean, you really can't. You really can't have dreams when you're literally writing history. I mean, what do they dream about?
dinosaurs.
Say like,
No, they didn't exist in the
aren't
same
dreams
time.
just like you reliving some experiences you've had that day or like in your lifetime? That's pretty
I've
much what a dream is, right?
I've never flown before, and that was a constant dream I had growing up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
same.
what did the first people? Let's just say cavemen. We're not going to bring religions and stuff obviously into it. Let's just say cavemen. On a universal basis, like what did the first people dream about?
How far the sky went, because that's what I
Yeah,
would be
probably
thinking, looking at the
But did they
stars.
flying.
even
They
wonder
probably,
things like that? Their brains
Yeah, that's
aren't
the thing.
even. They don't
Yeah,
even have a language.
yeah.
but I mean, even babies dream, right? And babies don't have any concept of those things.
Babies can't dream.
Of course, what?
I
I
looked it
used to
up.
dream as a baby.
Wha- Man, babies don't
Oh, okay.
dream.
Well, here's the thing. He said babies can dream. Did a baby tell you that?
Oh my goodness.
I'm talking about my own personal experience, though. I used to dream as a
You
baby.
can remember being an infant toddler that can't even go that could barely even do that. You can remember dreaming.
I mean, no, I can't remember that far back, but I can remember my first memories or dreams.
So babies begin dreaming around 2 years old.
Are
Okay,
they
maybe
even a
I'm
baby though
misremembering
at
something.
2?
You know that
Let
whole
me look up a 2-year-old and then
baby,
compare.
toddler words are just arbitrary at times. So they're infants for the most part.
Hmm. So babies are infant. I mean, infants are babies.
I get those words are arbitrary to me. I want like a definitive chart one of these days that actually says this starts here and then this goes to here. Because people use the words
So wait,
of
pause. Are we saying that cavemen are as smart as a freshly born baby? I think they're smarter than that. Wouldn't they?
I
They're at
think
least
Not
smarter than
until
a
they invented the
2-year-old.
wheel. Yeah, but up until that point, you got to think the first cavemen were babies. Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would be equivalently smart as babies because they didn't know anything. A grown adult caveman in the era where the wheel hasn't even been invented knows just as much as a baby.
No, because they knew about how to hunt. They knew about how to like remember their territories. Like they had to learn these things. It's
That's
not
because
like they
there's
knew
that's
absolutely
because
nothing.
they're an adult. But again, they had to learn those things.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is you have dreams about your experiences. So if your experience is like setting up territories or going to war or whatever, I think you're gonna dream about those kind of things.
hmm,
I don't know. I might be wrong, but I figure like if you have experiences in life, or if you observe something, you'll have a dream. Like for instance, a lot of times we dream about flying. We never flew, but we've observed things flying, so that's why we dream about stuff like that. Like you dream about what you observe or what you've experienced. What characteristics would your nemesis have if you had one?
Go
oh,
first. I
uh,
was about to say something stupid.
I would say sarcasm to match mine, and probably intelligence to match mine as well.
My nemesis would have the ability to unbelievably get his ass beat by me every single time, nonstop, back to back.
Uh,
Unbelievably.
Oh man. Oh man. So you would your nemesis be a masochist then?
I don't know what that means.
Someone who derives sexual pleasure from pain.
I didn't say he enjoyed it. I just said that's his skill.
All right.
What about you?
There though. Um, hmm. My nemesis would be someone who mm, is always right there to catch up to me. Like if I'm doing if I have an accomplishment, that person is right there on the cusp of either one upping me or catching up to me, and it will keep pushing me to get better.
Mm.
That sounds a little weird because that just means like you're fueled by not letting them do better than you.
Yeah, competition.
Yeah, I like competition.
No, that's a hater.
Hating competition is hating.
No, trying to make sure that creating a random, that's random though. Like, I don't
Well,
want this person
I
to do
wouldn't be
better than
actively
me.
holding them down. I would just be improving myself constantly so that they would never pass me. I'm not doing anything to hinder them.
It's like, let's say you're trying to find a cure for something, they would both be like right there about to discover it. But like, who wins? Does he win sometime, or do you always win?
I
I
would
mean, I
say
guess
he
if you
would
have a
have to win
goal, like
sometimes.
if you're going for something like that, but like his nemesis is just this person that like they're doing like this random person like me, and he sees them doing better, and he's just like, I can't let this person pass me in stream numbers, so like I gotta go harder. But it's like, why? Why can't they surpass you?
Yeah.
I want to be the best. That's how everybody gets to be the best. They constantly strive to be number one.
But in that case, if you want to be the best, you need to be the best. And if you are the best, a person who is the best wouldn't have to watch someone and only be able to do better when that person is catching up to them. In fact, that person would never catch up to the person because they're the best.
I don't know about that. I think like there's people in history who have had people who were catching up to them and then they improve each other because of the fact that that other person was catching up. And maybe they didn't consciously think about it like I'm going to actively try and never let this person pass me. Maybe they never thought about it like that, but I think on a subconscious level, if you have someone who's like a competitor, they actively push you even without you knowing to do better even though you're the best. It just might not be a conscious thing. Like mine is conscious because I know that that person is my nemesis, and they maybe have declared like I'm gonna pass you one day in whatever, and I'm like, no, you never will. It's kind of like this anime I'm watching is about Go, like people playing Go, and there's this one kid who he's like a genius at Go, and then there's this other kid who never played it before, but he's like rapidly improving. And he's saying like, I'm gonna beat you one day. And the other kid's like, no, I'm never gonna allow you to beat me. I'm always gonna keep getting better and better, so you never could surpass me. You could never catch up. And the other kid still is trying to do it, and he may do it. So I think that's kind of what I was thinking about.
No, I get you. I always, my brain always has to break things down and question everything that doesn't make sense. For instance, like for me, that just sounds like a complex of like needing to be like the coolest in the room kind of deal. Because like, if a kid walked up to me in an anime or whatever it is and is like, I'm doing really good in something, they're like, I'm gonna surpass you and beat you. Personally, I'm just like, all right, good luck. Because like, if you beat me, then I wasn't that good and you were just better. And if I cared about not being beat, which I don't know why you should or would, um, then I would have just been that good myself. Like I would have just been that good. So like if I cared that much, like I would have worked harder before anyone came up just to make sure I was just like so good. So like for me personally, yeah, I just wouldn't. If a person wanted to challenge me or make competition, I guess I'd be like, nah, I'm good. It's just like if you're better than me, then just go be better. And if I'm better than you, I've just always been that person. Like I don't like kind of like social plugging. I don't need to plug my social stuff like that. My content will speak for itself, kind of deal. It's the same thing with that. It's like I don't need to compete with people. If I'm better than Ninja or an Aiden Ross or something like that, then it'll just show. I'll just be better. I've never had anything like push me to be better or something like that. I've been my only motivation. Only thing that'll happen from like seeing someone surpass me, it'll just make me aware, oh, I thought I was doing really good and was like way above the next person, the next skill level under me. And really, I was only doing this good because this person went and did this much up here. It just makes me aware of how much I'm not doing, but it doesn't push me like, oh, I've got to pass that guy. It's just, okay, someone's doing better. I'm not doing as much production as I thought I was, or as much that it takes to really stay in the new bar for first place.
You know
I
what
guess
that
that
makes me
makes
think
sense.
of? That makes me think of there are two different types of people who are competitive. Sometimes people are competitive by like competing with others, and then some people are competitive by competing with themselves. So like I make a time as a runner or whatever, and then I'm competing with myself to beat my own time. And then you have other people who are like, this person has the world record, I'm gonna beat the world record. So like I think there are
Nope,
two
I'm
different
neither.
types of competitive.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead. Go ahead.
and
Sorry.
then of course there's people who are neither. Like I'm not competitive at all. I'm just
I'm
either good or I'm not.
I'm the kind of person. I'm a lazy first place. I'm a lazy completionist, is what I call it. In the sense of, I don't care to break a world record or anything. I just need to obtain first place. If first place is 1 point above you, that's all I care about. I just need to obtain first place because that is the best. And if I need to be better than that, then I will be to keep first place. But I just care about doing the bare minimum for first place, and that's it. Because typically in my life, doing anything extra never netted me anything extra, and I don't care about satisfaction or gratification. So
I feel that.
That sounds like me. But when I was streaming with one of my previous people that were I used to call a friend, they would always be like, "Let's do ranked, let's do ranked." I'm like, why? Like, I don't want to get sweaty. I don't want to get extra competitive for no reason. I just want to enjoy the game. I know ranked is a better quality of gaming, maybe, but like, I just want to play. I don't want to choose the right character for the right situation. I just want to play this character. But if you do ranked, you can't always pick who you want to pick because then people are gonna like flame you for picking this character because they're not the meta or whatever. I'm like, I'm good. He's like, no, we gotta do ranked. We gotta be the best. I'm like, you can't even play the regular game properly. How are you gonna do ranked? Like, you're not ready for ranked yourself. But ranked is just such a head builder. It's like, yeah, I'm in ranked. I'm playing ranked. Like, I don't care.
yeah,
Thanks for telling me that, bro. Because I remember when I would try and get you to play MOBAs with me, I would want to play ranked. Uh, but then we would lose, and then we'd be like, okay, let's just play standard mode. And we actually had more fun playing standard. But I didn't catch on at the time. Like, let's just play standard only and never go to ranked. So now I know.
I mean, if you're really, really good, ranked is definitely for you, but I'm never that person to want to be that competitive in a game. Like, I would like winning, but not like at that level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I've competed to want to be the best of a certain character in a game or something like that, but I wasn't motivated by myself and I wasn't motivated by anyone else. It was just like, this is the skill set my body can produce or work up to. And if that's the best, then it's the best. And if it's not, then it's not. I might be compelled to see if I can push harder if someone shows me more as possible, but that's only because I I'm just pushing to see what my limit is. Like, if I think this is my limit, then someone does better, I'm like, okay, so it's potential I could do more and I wasn't aware of it. I just felt this was my limit. So that person didn't inspire me to get what they got or anything like that. It's just to see what I can do. All right, let's see what my actual limit is. And then I go to that limit. And then another person goes even beyond that. And it's like, okay, there's more I could do. Let's see if I can reach that limit. It's more or less just testing myself. I just like to test myself to see if I can reach what is considered the best.
I think I got you.
If someone else takes higher than that and this is as far as I could go, then that's whatever. I wasn't the best, but I was something. I
That's
guess I was able to settle with the idea after failing at a lot of stuff that I wasn't going to be first in a lot of things, if anything. So like after a while, my competitive, it just kind of went out the way, and it was just like starting to be satisfied with whatever I could get.
Yeah. I think like I've never been well, I wouldn't say that. I haven't often been like the top of anything, but for some reason, I still have that competitive spirit where I still want to strive for it. And I think for me, I don't care if I ever become like the top of anything. I don't care if I am the best or not. But I think for me, it's kind of fun to compete. Like if I'm competing with myself or with someone else, I find it fun. I even find like sometimes not necessarily losing, but learning from a loss. I even find that part of it fun.
Oh yeah, like I have fun with it for sure. Um, no doubt. I guess I I just personally don't like competing with someone else or competing against like it, for me, like when you're competing, like, oh, this guy's beat me, I'm not gonna, or he's about to beat me, I'm not gonna let you beat me. It feels like a competing on someone's shadow, and I refuse to be that. I refuse to be to sit in the shadow. I am the caster of the shadow. That makes sense. So like, I don't like to focus on competing because if they surpass me, I'm in that shadow. If I'm never in the competition, I can never be in the shadow. So it might sound a little selfish, but when I realize I can't be the best in this game or something, I take myself out. I don't get my chance to stand in that shadow. If I know like, oh, this game right here, I'm really good at. Yeah, I'm playing that because, or putting more time into that because I don't have to worry about having to compete with someone or try to achieve someone or this person's the best. I had to look back, sit back in life and like not be the first like crazy gamer to make streaming big or something like that. Different things I wanted to achieve. I wasn't allowed to do that. Those are shadows I do have to live in for the rest of my life. Those suck. So like, and like I was at one point in a place where I was competing to do better than this person or to achieve what they're doing but do it better and take not get them not just gather my own attention but take some of theirs too, not in a hostile way. It didn't even matter who it was, it didn't matter who the person was, just whoever was on top, I'm taking your stuff and I'm gathering some of my own too. I was at a point like that, but not only realizing I was never going to reach that, but then also realizing that everyone has their own different success kind of took me from that. Everyone has their own bringings that make things easier, whereas I had things that made it harder. So this person was able to achieve what I wanted to a lot quicker than I was, stuff like that. So competing sometimes in my mind can be kind of dumb because like we don't always start on a level playing field. You know, like in the Olympics, this runner might have just started being able to train when they turned 20 and are now entering when they're 24, where this runner has been doing gymnastics in Olympics since they were, you know, a kid because they grew up in a family that was able to afford the lessons or the, you know, the gym fees, whatever, to do that kind of stuff. So it's like, how is it really fair to compete, you know? So mentally, that's how I look at things. So I just like, all right, no, I do compete. I play ranked mode, stuff like that, but I tend to try to not because of that.
I like that you brought something up that I like people not having a level playing field. That's a topic we could probably do an entire podcast on just because like
That
as you
topic for
said,
days.
like yeah, like if you're a person who has a rich family, you're probably getting a head start compared to someone else. But I think the only thing I would say in regards to that is I think you could still compete even with that. Yeah, it's unfair. Like a person who has the advantage has an advantage, which in and of itself is literally means it's unfair. But then there are people like what's that boxer's name, man? He has a tattoo on his face.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike, yeah, like Mike Tyson, he started off at a handicap. Like he was poor, he was working
Yeah.
a full time while boxing, and he still became number one. So I don't like even with a handicap, some people are still able to compete and surpass everyone.
Well,
So
see, that one is different though because it's always situational because with boxing, it's all about strength. So it really doesn't matter about money per se, like to a certain extent because Mike was given the qualities that would make him a good boxer. Like they're literally on his person. So he could have came from a rich background or a poor background. He still would have dominated because he was just big and strong. I mean, you could go down to, you know, he could have had a different trainer, which would have thrown variables in the mix and probably would have been a big factor. But yeah, that one's a lot different than someone who makes a career off of, let's say, making content, and you need computers and such to do so. So money is going to be a factor there, which
Yeah,
was
that's
my example in mine when saying that was like wasn't able to come up as fast as some of your streamers in today's community, top streamers, because they had that money to have equipment even back when it was crappy to make videos and whatever. I couldn't even get a camcorder kind of deal, so that's where that I feel is different than the boxing example.
fair. That's fair.
I feel
What do you
like
got to say, one?
when it comes to competition, for me, things like playing, let's say, Paladins ranked or something like that, I know I'm not gonna be number one, but that in itself is very variable because you got a different team every time, and that's why I like Paladins on a whole, because every match should be different. Let's say that, because you're going to match with all your teammates, they're not actually playing to play, but like when you go to rank, every match is gonna be different. It's not gonna be the same people you're playing against or people playing with, and you could always change the strategy to like attack the right, attack the left, but like it's always gonna be different. I think when it comes to that, I'm okay with that kind of competing, but it still gets exhausting after a while. Like you have to think through everything and know where they're gonna go, and I just want to play, man. I just want to shoot, pew pew, let's go, start over, let's go again. Like I've never been a competitive person. When it came to like the spelling bee, I was always third place by choice. I was like, okay, I'm done here, and I'm done. Third place is fine with me. Like I would just mess up on purpose and then just go sit down and watch. I didn't want to be in Washington doing a spelling bee. No, that's okay. I'm good.
See, I was opposite. I did do those things. Like I tried to do the best, but not. It wasn't like I'm gonna beat this person. It was like no one else was around. It was just like I know I can spell all these words. Like the challenge is to spell as many words without messing up, and I knew I could do it. It was more about spelling bee is about going flawless, not about being spelling more words than this person. In the end, technically, I guess it is because I made it to round 18 of spelling words where you got eliminated here because you spelled it wrong. But you're
Mhm.
not really competing with them, and maybe that was a good way for me to start because everything was like that from like then on. Like when I'm playing in PvP, it's not about like if I'm playing free for all in a shooting game, it's not about oh he's at 22, I've got to hurry up and beat him or do better. It's about the goal
Surviving.
is make it to 25 points and do it rather quickly. And it's like I know I can do that. Or I guess it is comes down to like I know I can do that faster than everyone else, but it's not like I know I can do it faster than you. It's just like I know I'm fast as fuck. I don't care how fast you guys are. I just know what I'm doing is gonna win.
Mhm.
I think I understand your mentality. So your mentality isn't competing. Your mentality is just doing your
Reach the
absolute
goal.
best.
Yeah, reach the
Yeah,
goal in itself.
yeah.
And
So
even though
basically,
technically I'm supposed to reach the goal faster than them, but I don't know. I don't even, I guess it's like mentally my brain goes, you're already better than them. You just need to make sure you reach the finish in the first place. Because if you don't reach the finish, it doesn't matter what they do. They did reach the finish. So that's like my only focus is like reach the finish and make the goal and just assume that what you're doing is leagues better than what they're doing. I have too
yeah,
much
yeah.
confidence in myself, I guess.
Nah, that's never
I
been the
So
already
case.
assumed I
basically,
beat you by the time I showed up. I just am
so
competing kind of with
basically,
myself.
it's like no, it doesn't make sense to compete because you feel that the only thing that matters is doing your best, and then you're either gonna be the best or you're not. The end, kind of thing.
If I come to compete with you, I'm assuming there's a chance I'm gonna lose. I don't ever assume there's a chance I'm gonna lose. So I'm not here to compete with you. I'm already at the finish line. I already won. If you show up, in my opinion, it doesn't mean it's a loser mentality, but in a sense, yes, that if you show up ready to compete, you're still racing. There's still a chance you can lose. I don't give you the opportunity. So that means we can't compete. We're not here to compete. I'm just here to watch y'all run. I'm already at the finish line. I'm just here to watch
That's
mentally.
good. That's good though.
That's good. On the other hand, you did mention that if you don't do the best, you just move on to the next thing, kind of.
Yeah, like I mean, it does like bother me. It only time I'll get bothered is not that I lost, but that I knew I shouldn't have. Like I had the capability of not losing and I didn't. Like any you ask one and any if someone's doing bad or something, it's obvious I'm gonna be like, man, with bad teammates, blah blah blah. But typically, like in my solo play, a lot of times my viewers will hear me whenever they're there, will hear me say my aim was crap or I could have did this better that. I typically don't go, oh, they're using like you'll never hear me be like, oh, they're using this weapon or they're playing like this or that. Every now and again, it might come out because like some things are annoying. Like a noob tuber is definitely annoying. But even with a noob tuber on the field using a grenade launch or something like that, even still, I'm like, I could have outplayed that. There is definitely a way to outplay it. Might not be a lot of options, but it's there. And instead of focusing on how they use something that narrowed down my options, I just focus on how I could have found that option. Until it becomes impossible for me to win, I don't start blaming other stuff.
Mm.
So like,
Yeah, similar. So whenever I play games, a
try
lot
not
of
to
times,
anyways.
whenever I play, like I mostly play MOBAs, right?
Mm,
Um, what I notice is a lot of people, whenever they're playing, they blame everyone, basically.
everything but themselves.
Yeah. But when I play, I'm always thinking about, okay, what could I have done better here? Or, okay, this mistake, this thing happened. How is it? What did I do to contribute to that? How could I have done something different? So even if that person maybe is absolutely their fault, maybe, but what could I have done better to make sure that even with them making a mistake, we would have still won? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
stuff like
that's my
that.
mentality too. I call it the carry mentality because like you'll get on any game and you'll see top streamers carrying people in Destiny, this or that, or just being super cracked. And I'll sit and think, and I'm like, okay, even though you played like complete crap, there are other people who are out here carrying teammates that play like that and win in the game. So I'm like, obviously, it's still potential for me to win. I don't want to and shouldn't have to, but it's still potential for us to have won the game with you doing that bad had I did something differently. So yeah, like that's what that I think keeps us thinking like that. Maybe you haven't put those two together, but I just think like there's someone out there that's doing it. It's definitely possible. It's just not favorable. So when they're doing bad, I'm just like, all right, yeah, even though you did really bad, I still didn't do enough to carry because we could have won. It's obviously possible to carry, and
I
I
could
didn't.
vouch for that.
So what happened that on my part, even though I shouldn't really be, I should be like, bro, you didn't get any kills or do any damage. You really shouldn't even be blaming myself. But for me, someone who's worried about that and rather just be so good, I think about what could I have did to carry harder.
Sometimes I don't really like when you do that because it's like it's taxing, to be always trying to carry everybody else. And not saying you should blame them, but don't blame yourself so hard for it because it's a team effort at the end of the day.
The
Just
only
my two
problem
cents.
is even in a game where it is a team effort, I obviously can't rely on those people, so I have to rely on myself. So even
Yeah.
though it is a game where it's supposed to be a team effort, it's
Hmm.
not, and it's a solo effort. So I have to beat myself up because I'm the only person I can count on, IRL and in the video game.
Yeah.
Literally. Yep. Which is why I guess we kind of went full circle because now it's like this is why we need friends to play with in these games. So
Hmm.
then we don't have to worry so much about like I have to carry. It could be like more collaborative.
I do
Yeah.
that IRL too. Like in a video game, I do that. But then recently, I had a situation where a person did something not so favorable to me that I am in no right to blame myself, but I'm not even mad at the person. I just got mad at myself and until this day still am. It happened about a month ago, but like mad about like how did I fall for that? How did I get myself in that situation? I
Mm.
should be 100% mad at them. Like, yeah, like you're crap for doing that. I don't, if I seen him in person, it's like, you know what? GG, you got me. I'm not even mad at you. I should have been mad at myself for falling for it in the first place. That's how I do in video games and IRL. It's like not even mad for what I got caught by. I'm mad at myself for getting caught by it.
Fair.
All right, next question.
Sure.
Oh, wait, by the way, I know we started late, but when are we ending the stream? Because
Oh,
I don't
we're at
wanna, I wanna respect Ronin's time.
we're at two
Bro,
hours.
as soon as I get off here, I'm getting on video games and streaming myself. Like I said, I stream like 12, 16 hours a day. You're not intruding on me at all.
We could wrap it up with
All right,
this one.
all right, last question then. I don't know. This one might be kind of dumb compared to the rest, but maybe not. So it says, why do you have to put your 2 cents in when it is really only a penny for your thoughts?
Oh my God.
Where's that extra penny going to?
Wow, this one sounds personal to me. Sounds like you like been watching me all in my life. Because when you said it's like, why do you always have to put your 2 cents? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
like
it
it
started
really felt
off.
like you're
It
saying to me because
started
I
off
know that's
personal.
like a thing I do. Like
Um. Hmm.
for me, I hate ignorance. I hate when people don't use their brain. I hate when people don't use common sense. And I have a whole thing on common sense and why that the term alone is dumb. But for typical common sense, people that just don't use it, it's just like, what? It gets on my nerves. I don't know. I guess I highly value intelligence and trying to evolve the human race before I die to as much as we possibly can, so I can see something cool. Because right now hoverboards have wheels, so life's really disappointing in the intelligence department. Stuff like that gets on my nerves. So when I see people not using their brain, I just like, if you just did this, this would be so much easier, or something like, or just not even that. Sometimes it's a helping thing. Like if I see I can help you be smarter, level up, and like increase your intelligence, evolve as a human, I will help you do that. If I can help you learn this skill and get that out of the way so we can move on to the next thing and all together, I'll do it. Because like literally that's how you evolve, is you learn something and then you get past it and you move on to the next thing that increases intelligence in society. So I have to like put in the 2 cents when it comes to something like that. Not like I need to tell you my opinion on. There's a lot of times where I hear someone talking about something, it's like I have this opinion, like you guys are really dumb that you view this way. But honestly, me saying something isn't going to change anything, blah blah blah. So I don't put in my 2 cents and stuff like that. But if it comes to like improving something or something, yeah, I will, or I might. There's even a lot of times where I'm just like, I know they don't care to hear what I say, so I'm not going to. But if I feel like something can be changed, or these people will actually listen to what I'm saying and think about it the next day or something, or take a lesson from it, change something immediately later, whatever, yeah, I'll put a 2 cents in.
I think
But that's just some. Go ahead.
I had the similar thoughts. Like putting your 2 cents in when it's a penny for your thoughts means that you're just putting a little bit extra in so that the person that's hearing it gets something out of it, whether it be improving themselves or like fixing something that they're going through. That extra penny that you put
Gotcha.
in,
Okay. Yeah.
it will, like, help them in the long run. And it doesn't really cost you that much if it's just a penny.
I don't have to, and there's a lot of times where sometimes I want to, but I just don't, or whatever. I never feel like I have to put my 2 cents in for the penny or whatever. It's more or less like if they need it. It's like, oh, okay, well, in my experience, I already know that, if you just do this, this will work out like that or whatever, since I see you're really in trouble. But,
Mhm.
Someone's going through something or whatever, and I know they'll figure it out from someone, or they like, you're going to be fine. Someone's going to give you the answer. You got a lot of support or whatever. Then, I don't feel compelled to put my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
Like for the penny or whatever, for your thoughts kind of deal. It just depends situationally.
Nice. I think you guys answered that question really well. Um, I don't really have much else to add except for repeating whatever you guys already said. So,
All right. So, Ronin, I know you don't want to, but let people know where they can find you or find your content.
Oh yeah, you can view me actually right after this stream on twitch.tv/UU Gamer Show. And you can also follow me on Twitter at the same @, TikTok, all that good stuff. It's all going to be at UU Gamer Show.
Cool. Me know anything to add in closing?
it was really nice talking to you, man. I like a lot of your thoughts, and it was really good conversation. And it's nice to officially see you. I don't think I've ever seen you before. I've heard your voice a lot on Wanted stream, but I've never actually seen you before. So it's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. I had fun.
Thanks for being here. This has been Rabbit Hole Roundtable Talks. We will see you in 2 weeks. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.
Peace.